Your grade in this class is going to be combined with lecture and lab. And overall, we're going to be using points. The total points that you will collect at the end of the semester is 1,000. I made it very simple. 600 of those points will come from lecture, 400 of those points will come from lab. Now within lecture, those points are divided up from a lot of these lecture assignments, which are basically like the module you're participating in right now, except with more specific content and things about biology. You also will have a couple assignments. Those will be really, I would think, fun activities where you're going to look for primary literature, and there'll be more on that later in the semester, but there's 2 assignments. You will also have midterms. You'll have 3 midterms. The last midterm is the final. And the midterms are going to be fairly creative. I'll ask you some critical thinking questions, and I'll ask you to use the concepts that we've learned in order to explain a process. The midterms are worth 40 points each, and again, you have 3. I did it this way because I'd like to move more points away from midterms, finals, and evaluations like that. I'd like to distribute the points more throughout the semester. So you'll be gathering points in your assignments and through your lecture modules, and those points will be the overwhelming majority. If you do very poorly on your midterms and your lab practicals in the lab, which is a midterm for your lab, but you do very well in all the other assignments, you'll still get a pretty good grade. You'll get a B or an A. So it's possible to do very well in this course and not do that well on your midterms. That being said, the midterms are not traditional midterms. These midterms are an opportunity for you to use the material that you've learned and use it to explain a pattern and communicate with me that you understand the material. And you're welcome to use your notes. You're welcome to use whatever class resource that you have, open book. But it is timed, and it would be easiest if you had a good handle on the material and a good handle on how to find it in your notes. As far as the lab is 400 points, and that's broken up and distributed between lab modules, which will make the bulk of those points. It's basically just the lab class. You also have a few lab notebook checks where you'll take pictures of your lab notebook and upload them and show me that you've been kind of following along in your lab notebook. And lastly, you'll have lab practicals. And a lab practical is basically a midterm for your lab. The difference is that because it's a lab, you might have questions that show you things like slides or show you things like an organism and the features on the organism, and it might ask that you identify those things. So this is where you would have those kind of traditional questions where you're asked to identify things in a more specific way. So that's a lab practical. You'll have 3 of those, and those are worth 30 points each. Again, the lab practicals, the midterms and finals, those points aren't the overwhelming majority of points. If you don't do so well on tests, you can still get a good grade in this class, and that's how I've designed it.